Hello Internet, this is Arwen Knox, and we are going to play Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. If you know absolutely nothing about this game, I'll give you a really quick introduction. This was a game published back in 2004 by Activision and developed by Troika Games and White Wolf Gaming Studio. When this game was released, it was a clusterfuck of bugs, and the community actually did a lot to fix this. Sorry, I'm gonna have to try a lot more not to like like I did before. Let's see, I'm already going. The fan patches that were put out by this game did a lot to fix a lot of the problems, and the interesting thing is that the patching hasn't stopped. The most recent patch was put out in May of this year, actually, which surprised me when I went to reinstall this. So there are a few things that are still kind of problematic. One of which being the opening sequence. I don't know what's going through their head, because I've already done a couple test runs to make sure I got my sound levels halfway decent. And the camera angles are bizarre. The person who did the patch coding for that didn't do a perfect job, which confuses me because earlier fan patches did a much better job. Anyway, I'm not going to go into all the changes of the fan patches. A lot of it's tweaking, rebalancing, adding content that wasn't there before, or the coding was in place but it wasn't finished. But that's nearly 10 years worth of patch notes, and I wasn't going to go through and read all of it. I'm also running with the Plus patch, and I'm not quite sure what all the differences are between that and the standard patch, but we'll go ahead and give this a go and see what we get. I already know what I'm going to play, and I'll give you a quick rundown of things as we go. Alright, we're going to go directly to the character sheet. Even though answering the series of questions is fun, we're going to do the character sheet. I'm not going to give you a overall rundown of World of Darkness. Just suffice to say, Vampire is based on a tabletop game published by White Wolf, and it's gone through, several revisions, and the current version now is Vampire the Requiem, which is actually a very different setting. It doesn't have any of the apocalyptic tones that the White Wolf and World of Darkness settings had pre 2000, because that was the thing then, was the world was going to end. And so but I will give you a quick rundown of each clan. I'm not going to read the big blurb here because that would just take forever. The Bruja rather, thing to know about them is they're rebels without a cause. Their blood runs hot, and they're just going to, fight the power and fight the man, whether or not they have any real cause to. That's right. There's different clans of vampires, all descended from the original vampire, but we'll get into that as the game goes on because it actually goes into that really well. Gangrel are the feral vampires, is a good way of looking at them. They can connect well with animals, and they connect well with the beast that resides inside all vampires. They have a really cool power with a protean power where they can transform into like this really deadly war form. They're actually a lot of fun to play. Malkavian are mad prophets. Their depiction in this really goes into what's been called the fish milk, which, as I understand it, the fish milk is that disruptive player who plays their insanity to be disruptive and garner more laughs than actually be kind of scary and disturbing, which is what the Malkavians actually are supposed to be. But they're still a lot of fun, and because their madness gives them insight into things that they shouldn't rightly know. You ever seen the movie Nosferatu? Well, that's where these guys come from, or even Count Orlok. They're bat-like, they're ugly, and they actually present a unique gameplay challenge because uh, just being seen is a masquerade violation, and masquerade's the keeping the vampires secret so humanity doesn't learn about them and come after them and destroy them all. So you actually have to sneak around everywhere. You're not cut off from interacting with the NPCs you need to interact with, but you have to stick to the sewers in the game for the most part, which is very interesting challenge. Clan Toreador, they're the I would call them the seductive vampires. They are all about physical beauty, physical perfection, and as a friend of mine described their particular setup of powers is they can be across the room in a blink of an eye, put your head into the floor, and look great while doing it. The um, the thing about them too is that they tend to get transfixed on everything particularly beautiful, whether it be artwork, music, whatever. The Tremere are interesting. The Tremere are actually a clan that isn't directly descendant from the original vampires. Instead, they were mages who stole their vampirism, and they practice a special kind of blood magic called thaumaturgy. So they have a whole interesting set of powers. They even have their own thing in this game. That's the thing about this game too, is that every choice you make for your character, whether it's your clan, your gender, dialogue choices you make, everything reacts. I swear, if Activision had let Troika actually finish the game, this probably would have been gone down as probably one of the best RPGs of all time, and it really still kind of is. The Ventru clan, they're the vampire lords. To a T, they're aristocracy. They lead, they rule over everyone, and they have a severe stick up their ass. But for the sake of this game, because it's going to be the most fun, I'm actually going to play a Clan Malkavian vampire. Because I have no idea what the hell they're saying half the time, but we want to have some fun with this, don't we? This is added in by the fan patches is the histories. Mostly what they do is they shift around your priority of your traits. For example, cut rate party clown. It swaps the priority order of attributes to physical, mental, and social. I think where is it? These, however, these don't affect anything in terms of story. They're just there to facilitate character creation and give a little more extra customizability. Let's see. Completely batshit. Effects of your dementation are greater and last longer. It's difficult to wrap your wriggling brain around the concept of invisibility, however, and you must spend more experience points to raise your skill in Obfuscate. Um, Obfuscate is fun, though. You gain bonus earning experience, but others find you disdainful and the reaction towards you is lowered. Call. Oh, yeah. Subtly insane. Your unique form of dementia flares up more easily when provoked in combat, but you can't ever raise your dodge above 3. Huh. Um, let's just go with none. I think. Oh, that would probably be fine enough. I think. Next. All right, we're gonna do our attributes here. And if you've ever played the tabletop game, this should look very familiar to you. Only like the amount of abilities are cut in half, and you're stuck with your 3 clan disciplines, as opposed to being able to pick and choose a lot more freely in the tabletop game. Also, the neat thing here is the way they work what's called feats. Is that feats are basically the math behind all of your abilities. So, for example, if I want to be good at persuasion, well, I'm going to want to put more points into charisma. And which one is it? Subterfuge. No, that's not subterfuge. What's the other one? Scholarship. Really? Yeah, but you can see how it'll add over here on the left hand or right hand side. So we're gonna go. I'm probably gonna want to go gun a little bit. I've gone melee before in this game. It doesn't work out so well once you hit the end. So we're gonna do a little bit in perception. Hacking, yeah, a little bit in the wits. You have 1 point in social. I think charisma, talent sprawl, dodge, intimidation, subterfuge. I'm gonna do dodge because that's always good to have. Mitigating damage is the best way to go. All right, point into firearms. Security, stealth. Security, actually, lockpicking's a good skill to know. Knowledge is computer, because I love hacking. Investigation. Scholarship, actually, a little bit into research, because you'll find books that'll actually raise your skills, which is really nice. Then our disciplines. I know for a fact that I want to do obfuscate, which is your invisibility power, because I'm going to do the tutorial, and I know that without obfuscate level 2, it's pretty much impossible. I don't know if this has been fixed, and I'm not going to take the chance. Before I get into the intro, there's going to be a moment where the intro is taking place in an area that in a theater that should be echoing. I don't know why they did this, but rather than actually add an echo pass to the sound, they instead oscillate the sound between the right and left channels, so it sounds really damn weird. So it's not your speakers and it's not my sound setup. That's just the way they decided to simulate an echo in this game. So we're all set to go. Oh, if I remember right, I can actually lower my humanity to get myself more points, I think, but we don't want to do that. That actually makes it very hard to interact with people as time goes on. You start becoming more and more of an asshole, whether you want to be or not, which is kind of cool. It does really limit your conversational options. A glass of water here. All right, and we'll go through the opener. I love that scream. And these little blood trails were added by the fan patch. Same with the bite marks, those were added in. Has he only got one nipple? I know, weird thing. Yeah, you see how he kind of slid there? That's the sort of thing where they only animated what was necessary.
Good evening.
And so the bad camera angles kind of tend to show that off.
My apologies for disrupting any business or interfering with prior engagements you may have had this evening. It's unfortunate that the affair that gathers us together tonight is a troubling one. We are here because the laws that bind our society, the laws that are the fabric of our existence, have been broken. As Prince, I am within my rights to grant or deny the kindred of this city the privilege of siring. Many of you have come to me seeking permission, and I have endorsed some of these requests. However, the accused that sits before you tonight was not refused permission. Indeed, my permission was never sought at all. They were caught shortly after the embrace of this child. It pains me to announce the sentence, as up to tonight I considered the accused a loyal and upstanding member of our organization. But as some of you may know, the penalty for this transgression is death. Know that I am no more adjudicator than I am a servant to the law that governs us all. Let tonight's proceedings serve as a reminder to our community that we must adhere to the code that binds our society, lest we endanger all of our blood. Forgive me. Let the penalty commence. Which leads to the fate of the ill-begotten progeny. Without a sire, most child are doomed to walk the earth,
Yeah,
never
you
knowing
see
their
that?
place, their responsibility,
Little
and most importantly, the laws they must obey. Therefore, I have decided that
This is bullshit!
thank you, Nines. Dramatic cuts. I don't know why you did this.
if Mr. Rodriguez would let me finish, I have decided to let this kindred live. They shall be instructed in the ways of our kind and be granted the same rights. Let no one say I am unsympathetic to the plights and causes of this community.
See?
Thank you all for attending these proceedings, and I hope their significance is not lost. Good evening.
Yeah, they were trying a few things with dramatic camera angles, but it still shows off a lot of the incomplete animations. It still baffles me because, again, very
Well,
early
sire,
on, this
tragic.
was
My
fixed.
apologies, but you see, there is a strict code of conduct that all of us must adhere to if we wish to survive. When anyone breaks these laws, they undermine the well-worn fabric of our centuries-old society. Understand my predicament. Allowing you to live makes me directly responsible for your subsequent behavior. So, what I'm offering is not generosity, but the opportunity to transcend the fate woven by your sire. This is your trial. You will be brought to Santa Monica. There you will meet an agent by the name of Mercurio. He will provide the details of your labor. I've shown you great clemency. Prove it was more than a wasted gesture, fledgling. Don't come back until you do. Good evening.
If you're wondering why the character sort of swayed his hips as he walked, that's a kind of gender-neutral animation. Click to continue, control. I think this is probably a halfway decent place to stop for this recording. So, we'll be right back, and we'll get on with the tutorial.